Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo Yoga 730. I'm going to show you a teardown or disassembly tour, how to get inside, and many of the various components you can access once you're in. So first thing, power down your computer through the start menu, make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access your bottom case screws. Now you have 10 screws on the bottom case that you need to remove. After doing so, you'll take a small, flat, plastic pry tool and you'll go across the entire seam of the bottom case and gently pry it up from the rest of your computer. It's generally best to start out back near one of the two hinges and go in one direction. If you get stuck, leave it, go to the other side and continue in the other direction. Also, don't put the pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components. Just keep it on the edge, go nice and slow but firm, and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. Once you do, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like help with tools or supplies for your project, as well as any replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model computer, I will have a link above, also below in the description, and it will be a list of all those tools and supplies and the replacement parts for this specific Yoga 730. Now, before touching anything in a computer, it's always wise to remove or at least unplug your battery. Computers are safest to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. This is your battery right down here. This is a 51.5 watt-hour battery, 11.4 volt. The part number for Lenovo for this battery is L17L3PEO. I will have all that information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement, but I will also include a battery replacement in that list I told you about below in the description with all the replacement parts for this computer. It's held in by these 4 screws and plugs into the motherboard right here. Now, as goes for any cable or wire in a computer, try to avoid pulling on the wire if at all possible. You could damage it or sometimes pull it right out of the plug. So what you want to do, if at all possible, is grab the plug itself and wiggle it out of the motherboard port. Now, in this case, this one didn't have a whole lot of grip on either side, so I did have to grab the wire just a little bit, but I tried to grab it along with the plug and wiggle it out slowly so as not to damage it. I guess the last thing to mention about this kind of an operation, if you're here because your computer is not turning on, your battery could be bad and it may need to be replaced, but keep in mind that most laptops should still turn on and work even with a bad battery as long as the charger's plugged in. So if your computer is not turning on, there may be more going on than just a bad battery. If you would like help troubleshooting why your computer's not turning on, there will be a link above. Also below in the description, it'll be a tutorial video showing you how to troubleshoot a computer that's not turning on and how to fix it. Your RAM is situated right here to the left of my screen. There's a small metal guard that covers it. You can wiggle that right off. It's not screwed down. I use a small flat plastic pry tool from either the bottom or the top to get that started and wiggle that off. After you remove that guard, you expose your single RAM port right here. Now, this computer has 8 gigabytes of onboard RAM. That means it's integrated into your motherboard and it's not removable. That's why some of you will have an empty RAM slot here. This computer takes a max of 16 gigabytes RAM, which means the most you can put into this port is an 8 gigabyte stick. That, added to the 8 gigabytes of onboard RAM, will give you the full 16 gigabyte that this computer supports. If you would like help finding the RAM for this computer, below in the description in that link I told you about with all the tools and replacement parts, I will have an 8 gigabyte stick there if you're looking to max out your RAM. If you're looking for your own RAM, this computer requires DDR4 RAM at 2400 megahertz. I will have that information below in the description. The way that you operate RAM, there's a spring-loaded arm on either side. To get RAM out of this port, you would gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM stick. The RAM stick will then release. Oftentimes it'll pop up a little bit and you can grab it and take it out of this port. To put the RAM back in the port, as you notice, there's a long section here and a short section there, so you can't put the RAM in upside down. It will only go in one way. Once you get it in and nice and straight and flush, just press down in the center and these metal arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. And I guess the last thing to mention about a RAM replacement, if you are looking to increase your performance or the speed of your computer, upgrading or maxing out your RAM is an excellent way to do that. Probably one of the easiest and cheapest ways you can do that. If you still want more performance and speed, consider upgrading your storage as well. Your single storage device is right here near the right hand of my screen. It's a single M.2 slot NVMe PCIe, and this takes the larger 2280 size solid state drives. Now, most of you will have a 500 gigabyte solid state drive in this port. So below in the description, in that link I mentioned with all of the replacement and upgrade parts, I will have a 500 gigabyte replacement, but I will also have a terabyte if you're looking to upgrade. I will also have all of the solid state drive spec information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement. And if you would like to learn more about how hard drives and various kinds of solid state drives differ from each other, there will be a video link below in the description that'll take you on a quick introductory tour and explain how these storage devices work. The way to access this is you would remove this single screw right here on the right. After doing that, you can take the solid state drive out of this port right there. I guess the last thing to mention about this kind of an operation, after installing a new storage device, you most likely will need to install an operating system onto it in order to use your computer. If you would like help with that, there will be 2 video links below in the description. One will show you how to install Windows 10, the other will show you how to install Windows 11. And lastly, if you are replacing a bad drive, but you have data on it that you wish you could save, it is possible in many cases to recover data even from a bad drive. I will have more information about that process below in the description as well. Your speakers are right down here. You have one near the left corner of my screen, one near the right corner of my screen. Now these speakers are not screwed down. You can see the purple rubber washers over these posts for sound insulation. That's all that's holding them down. So if you need to get them up, you can just wiggle those right off. This speaker on the left of my screen does not plug into the motherboard itself. Through all of these threading, all the way to the right speaker, and the right speaker plugs into the motherboard right here. If you are looking to remove this speaker, be very careful not to pull on that wire. Speaker wires are very fragile. Just pull on that plug to get it out of that port. And another word of caution, once you take these out, remember to run these wires exactly as they're supposed to be. So either pause this video if you have the same exact model, or take a picture of your computer, but you want to run these exactly as it's supposed to be run so that when you put the bottom case on, it doesn't pinch those wires and damage them. I will try to have a speaker replacement option for you below in that link I told you about with all of the replacement parts for this model computer. And I guess the last thing to mention about this kind of an operation, if you're having sound quality issues, if your sound is not consistent across different platforms, your speakers could be bad and you can look into that, but more likely it's a system or a driver issue. Try to make sure those are all updated before trying an invasive repair like this. I will have a video tutorial link below in the description. It'll show you how to make sure all your drivers and your system are updated so you can try that first. Your Wi-Fi card is right here in the top right of my screen. There's a little black piece of tape that hangs over the screw and the antenna wire. You can gently peel that up. The single screw will release the Wi-Fi card. All you will have then is the antenna wire that snap on. Those are just snaps. They just come up and off of the Wi-Fi card. And to get them back on, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap back on. And keep in mind, you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So just be patient. They can be a pain in the butt if you're not used to them, but you will be able to get those on. I will have all the Wi-Fi spec information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement, but I will include a replacement Wi-Fi card below in that link I told you about with all of the tools and replacement parts for this model computer. And I guess the last thing to mention about a Wi-Fi card replacement, if you're having Wi-Fi issues in your computer, if you cannot see the Wi-Fi options, if you can't find any networks, your Wi-Fi card may be bad. You may need to replace it, but it could also be something else. It could be a system, a driver issue. I would try to rule that out first. I will have a tutorial link below in the description. It'll show you how to troubleshoot a laptop if you cannot see your Wi-Fi options. The fan is here on the right side of my screen, and then one here near the left side of my screen. Be very careful with the fan wires. They are probably one of the more fragile wires in a laptop, so definitely just pull on the plug and not on the wires if you're unplugging those fans. You can unscrew them here. You can find the screws on the fans. If you're looking at your heatsink, it sits over your CPU and GPU, and the heatsink goes in between the fans and these two vents. As a word of caution, if you are taking up your heatsink for any reason, I don't know why you're here, if you're replacing a component, if you're just here to clean out your computer, but if you do remove the heatsink and expose the thermal paste to air, you do need to reapply that thermal paste. Once it's been broken and exposed to air, it does need to be reapplied. If you would like help with that whole process, I will have a video tutorial link below in the description. It will be a tutorial showing you how to fix an overheating laptop. And one of the things it will show is how to clean off all the old thermal paste from both your CPU, GPU, and heatsink. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. And it will show you to apply the correct amount of thermal paste. If you put too much thermal paste down, it could end up locking heat in rather than facilitating its transport out. So if you want help with that, again, there will be that tutorial below in the description. And I guess the last thing to mention about this type of an operation, not all thermal paste is created the same. So the cheaper stuff, it will work, but generally speaking, the more expensive thermal pastes will do a better job. So below in the description, in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts for this computer, I will have two different options. I will have an option on the cheaper end that again will work, but I will have a little bit more expensive option too if you guys really want to get good thermal paste. As far as the other components go, this is your power jack right here on the top right of my screen that plugs into the motherboard there. As you notice, there's a little groove, a little clip right there in the middle. If you put a little pry tool there, that can aid you in pressing down and sliding it out so you don't have to, again, pull on those wires. If you are accessing anything like your touchpad or your keyboard, they attach to the motherboard here via these ribbon cables. These are a little fragile. You want to be careful when operating these. This one here, the small one for your touchpad, as you can see, there's a black clip right there on that white port. Same goes for your larger keyboard one. It's a longer black clip on the white port. Your keyboard has a little thin piece of yellow tape that you'll gently, carefully pull off to access it. And the way that these clips work, again, they're very fragile. You would take a small, very, very flat pry tool, slide it underneath that black clip very carefully, and then pop it up. It opens like a book cover. And as it opens, it will release the ribbon cable. If you do break that clip, you probably won't be able to find a replacement, which means your ribbon cable may not ever secure down again. So be very careful when operating ribbon clips like that. One thing to shout out over here on this end too, I'm not sure if your computer will have it or not, but you'll notice there's a sticker on top of the screw that holds your solid state drive down. These are generally warranty void stickers, and you'll see them at various places in some computers. Breaking that sticker and accessing that component can sometimes void part or all of your warranty. So check out your warranty coverage, make sure which parts of your warranty it voids, and be careful when accessing parts with those stickers on them. If you are looking at getting at your LCD assembly, remember you have your antenna wire that come down here through this hinge assembly here, and you also have your LCD cable that comes down here. So your LCD cable can be unplugged with this black pull tab. You grab that pull tab and pull directly up. That will unplug it from your motherboard, and we already went over how to take up your antenna wire. After that, you would unscrew both hinges, and then you can get your hinge assembly off. If you would like help getting into your LCD assembly to replace your actual LCD, I will have a video link tutorial below. It'll be a general tutorial showing you how to access the LCD inside an LCD assembly. If that doesn't help you enough and you want help with your specific model, leave me a comment with what model you're working on and I can help you out. But that's it for this video, how to get inside your Yoga 730 and how to access the internal components.
Like this resume that's in German. Whatever language that is.
Talking intro, talking intro. Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo Yoga 730. I'm going to show you how to get inside, access your memory. So first thing, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger.